Now, India is imposing a 10-day quarantine on visitors from the UK, even if they are fully vaccinated. Now, the government says this is in line with rules of reciprocity, and there have been tensions between the two countries over the use of the Covishield vaccine. Fully vaccinated Indian visitors are forced to quarantine upon arrival in the UK. Now, let's discuss this with our correspondent in India. It's Rebecca Bundhun. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, of course, it's so obvious. This is a tit-for-tat situation. Am I right?
It absolutely is a tit-for-tat situation, and India had warned of this. It's been angered, it's been upset, and very confused by the UK's move really to impose these restrictions that come into effect in the UK on Monday against Indian travellers, which means that even if they've been vaccinated with the Covishield vaccine, which is the Oxford AstraZeneca jab made locally here in India, it's essentially the same as the vaccine that's been widely used in the UK. They would essentially be treated as an unvaccinated person on arrival in the UK, forced to quarantine for 10 days over there. They'd have to take tests on the second day and 8th day as well as that test before going into the country. So there has been a lot of confusion around this. There's been anger, and India had actually warned of retaliation. It described the move as discriminatory because some other countries from Monday onwards would actually be allowed to actually avoid this quarantine, even if people have been vaccinated with the Covishield jab. So the UK last week actually clarified that the Covishield vaccine is now recognised by the UK and it's on its list, but it seems to be India's vaccination certificate that isn't recognised. So that's really led to a lot of anger here, and now we're seeing this move from India to impose a 10-day quarantine for travellers, vaccinated travellers who are coming from the UK, British nationals, and they'll also have to undergo a test on the 8th day as well. So they are imposing stricter restrictions now for British travellers coming into the country, and this clearly is a move that's intended to put pressure on the UK to ease its own restrictions, and it is definitely a retaliatory move as well.
I mean, this clear political game that's been played by both countries no doubt will have some dire consequences on both economies when it comes to industries like tourism. And I just want to get a sense from you in terms of how long India is willing to hold out on this particular decision. We've seen Britain really digging in its heels in situations like South Africa, which remains on the red list despite the fact that we're ramping up the vaccination program. And really we're just showing that we don't have issues of high COVID numbers like in the UK, for example.
Yes, that's right, and it clearly affects a lot of travellers. I mean, there's a huge number of Indian people who are based in the UK. There are a lot of students who are studying over there as well, and it's really hit them very hard because not only is there the inconvenience of having to go through all of these processes, the testing, the quarantine, but there's also the expense involved for them as well. And on the tourism side, in terms of India, it's actually not issuing tourist visas at the moment. So it won't necessarily impact its tourism for now. But clearly people travelling from the UK to India for business purposes and so on, they'll be very much affected by this. And clearly the UK and India generally do have very, very strong ties, a very strong relationship in terms of trade. The bilateral relationship as well is very, very strong. So this row that's been going on is really not good for that relationship between the two countries, which is particularly important at the moment at a time when India's economy has really been battered by the COVID-19 pandemic. The UK as well, having been through Brexit, is really keen to actually strengthen those business and trade relations with India. And in fact, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson was set to visit India earlier this year on 2 occasions, but unfortunately those visits had to be cancelled both times because of the pandemic raging first through the UK earlier this year and then India's massive second wave of infections. But But clearly, they're very important partners in terms of the economy, in terms of trade. So this route really isn't very good for either side at the moment.
Now, Rebecca, you mentioned earlier that the vaccination certificate is one of the big issues, the UK having a problem with that. It seems to be the problem here in South Africa as well, the certificate issue. Why do you think that is? Because I've seen India's certificate and it looks very decent. It's digital, it has the barcode, it has even the photo of the president, or, you know, it's very, very clean and neat, and it seems like it's in order. What is this issue?
Yes, that's what India is very concerned about as well, because it has got this co-win app. It's been a very digital process for India to actually go through this, and it's not very easy to actually get around that and create any kind of fraud. There would be some examples, of course, but it's quite a difficult system to get past, and generally it's considered quite foolproof. So that's really India's big concern at the moment. And in comments that have come out from British officials, they are suggesting that they are talking to Indian authorities. They're trying to figure out a way that they can ease restrictions. They're trying to analyse the system to actually try and recognise it. But India's really not very clear on why the UK is not recognising it already, especially when there are other countries where the UK has said that from Monday onwards those passengers won't have to quarantine, including countries like the UAE, Singapore, Japan, even Barbados. Countries in the Caribbean are having their vaccination programmes recognised, but India isn't, and that's led to some critics saying that this is even describing it as a racist move. So that's really why India is quite upset about this. But there do seem to be discussions that are going on between Britain and India to actually try and resolve this matter. But it seems with India's latest move to try to retaliate with its own quarantine rules, and that seems to be India really putting pressure on the UK to actually speed up this process and even try and get the matter addressed before Monday, when these rules actually come into effect in the UK. It seems that India really wants this matter to be resolved very, very quickly, and it's not clear how long that will actually take at the moment.
Very interesting insights there, India correspondent Rebecca Bundhun, just breaking down this decision that the Indian government has made against the UK. I must say, Baron, the UK leaving a lot of people around the world puzzled. It's South Africa, it's India. The decisions that they're making, I would argue, are not even scientific.
No, and I think they've also said it's not really clearly 100% based on science, but it is definitely the certificate issue, and I think a lot of other issues as well that maybe we're not 100% sure about. But our India correspondent there, Rebecca, definitely breaking it down for